everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. The card I have for you today is the second in the series that I'm doing with the Cloches. And the Cloches are one of the new stamp bundles that's in the upcoming mini catalog. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. One, this catalog, the mini catalog, and then our celebration catalog. And the very best thing about this, if you're new to Stampin' Up!, well, if you're not even new to Stampin' Up!, I've been with Stampin' Up! Coming up on 27 years. We've never had a summer celebration before. Well, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you've always had a summer celebration. You've never had a winter one, but we've never had a celebration that takes place in August. So for the first time ever, we're having a celebration. Anything in this catalog is free, either with a $50 or a $100 purchase. That starts August 3rd. And then our holiday catalog, don't pay attention to the July. It starts August 3rd because of COVID. So it got pushed back a month, but the holiday catalog also starts August 3rd. So if you are my customer, you should have had your catalog for a couple of weeks now. You should be making your list. You should be getting all ready. You should be wondering, oh, what online classes is she going to offer? What's going to be the sets she's going to use at the fall retreat? All that kind of good stuff. You should have your calendar marked for August 3rd, which I will have a bunch of videos that walk through both catalogs, and then you'll have some additional specials if you order on the 3rd and 4th. If you didn't get your catalog and you're my customer, then you need to let me know. If you don't have a catalog because you don't have a demonstrator, then let me know. I'd be happy to send you one. So there's that. Then the first class, I did send an email out. It's been up on my website for a couple of days, but the email went out today to let you know. My first online class will feature the Peaceful Cabin. Now, just to let you know, it was not my intended first class. The first class I wanted to do was the one that had the blackberry and copper kind of stuff, but we don't have that paper yet. So I'm still waiting on the dies for my peach class, and I just got today the Firma pack that went with my artistically inked. So I was not going to do something where the paper isn't even in yet. So I went with Peaceful Cabin because I love this suite. And when I first saw it in the catalog, it's very wintry. But the online class will do 4 projects. I have this video up. We will not be coloring the cabin because a lot of you have already said to me, I really like that card, but I don't like to color. Or you think you can't color it, you can. It just takes practice. And some of us just letting go of your inhibitions. But we're not going to color. It's going to be a heat embossing focused class. So included in the class is some clear embossing powder. We're going to use blending brushes. But as you can see, it doesn't have to be a winter card. If you get the full kit, you'll also get a couple of celebration items included in your kit box. So all of the details for that, registration is up. I'm going to place the order as soon as everything goes live. So that class will happen in August. So that is up. And then, like I said, the card that I'm doing today is the last one in the series of the ones that I'm doing for the designer series paper. It's on sale this month. The one that's in the annual catalog, not all of it, but most of it. So you can go to my website and see the list. I already did this one. So this used the classic Cloche dies that coordinate with this bundle, and then the Cloche shaker domes. So this video already posted. This one uses the Beauty of the Earth designer series paper on sale, and I think it's summery because it looks like the Cloche that I have up now, but when I posted the picture online, lots of people are like, pretty Christmas card. So obviously, excuse me, we have the smoke here from I live in Indiana, and we have the smoke. We've had it for a couple of days from the wildfires out west. So I realize it's just a inconvenience to us. I'm praying for you all that actually have the fires, but it's made my throat scratchy. So obviously dual purpose card. Now the one I'm doing today, I'm going to use the paper again, and then I'm coming back to this one. So there will be 3 in this series. And we're going to do a Christmas card with some of the new papers and actually use the stamps. So check back. So today's card, again, I'm going to go back to the paper. I was really tempted to do Beauty of the Earth, and I'm like, you just use that, so use something else. But I'm going to show you, and your mind's going to have to go with me because they didn't create the card. But you'll be able to see it, I'm sure, in your head, because that's where all crafters create first, right? In your head. So I'm going to use Sweets and Treats. You can see that the die, this is the die that goes with the other bundle. And it does the cloche as well. So we're going to have to fussy cut the stand, or you could stamp it on your card itself. That's not the way I designed this card, but super cute. It has the pie, the caramel apple, another year-round set, the super cute Christmas pudding. Makes me feel like I'm back in Australia or Scotland. And then some cupcakes. Another year-round set. It has a happy birthday, so you can use it, the love you so easily for Valentine's or birthdays, and then bring on Christmas. I love that. So you could start using that right after Thanksgiving. So for the paper for this, at first I just saw apple pie, but I realized apple pie all year round, and I've been to the orchard, and our orchard does have apples, but they're kind of the mushy ones that they always say best for applesauce. Because apples really here in the fall or when we start making apple pie. But this weekend I'm making peach crisp, but I thought I could make a peach pie. Pie crusts are kind of difficult when peaches will be delicious in a peach crisp, right? Or a peach cobbler, one of the two. I sent my daughter a bunch of recipes because peaches are the bomb right now. So I'm going to use the peach paper on sale. And I'm also have all that stuff for my peach class, waiting on the peach dies to get in. They're supposed to be in next week. So I have crumb cake. Obviously you need crumb cake when you're doing a pie. So this is our card base. So I'm going to start with that. This is not, okay, when you see the other card and it's a shaker, people are like, oh, that's going to be hard. It's going to be so hard. Not hard at all. And actually the shaker card, which doesn't shake, I don't know where I laid it. It doesn't shake. It just has the dome over the top. That card is actually easier than this card. It's like back when you had a perm and people were like, oh, that must be really hard to take care of your hair. And you're like, yeah, you just wash it and let it dry. And then I got my hair cut and I used to curl it, and people were like, oh, that must be so much easier. No, because now I have to curl it, and no, not so much easier. The perm was easier, but just because I had more curls that were added with some chemical, it was easier. So this, people are going to think it's easier because it doesn't have the little pop-up thing. That was easier. But this doesn't take that long. So I'm going to ink the other card actually didn't have any stamping. So I'm going to ink the dome, put that there. And then, so that's going to get cut out with the die. Like I said, the base of it doesn't have a die. So we're going to have to fussy cut this. Have that. Then I'm going to do our pie, which can be all year round, any kind of pie you want it to be. Ours is peach, but the funny thing is it's a peach pie, which you will know because of the paper, but it's a pie crust. So unless you can add some scratch and sniff, which you could put some essential oils or some spice on there. A long time ago, we used to do scratch and sniff cards. I don't remember how we used to do it. One of you can probably refresh my memory, because we did used to have, I know we did coffee and we did put cinnamon on some stuff a long time ago. And then I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to add this saying, which is so super cute. It says, any way you slice it, I'm thankful for you. Is that not adorable? So that's all of the stamping that we need to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out because I don't want to take the time to color it and then have my die do something funky, and then we have to cut it again. And you can see this isn't cut, stamped exactly right. It does not matter. So don't get all out of, feel like that has to be perfect. Although if you're not filming, you can put your head dead over the top and that might help. So here's a little fun bit. We are going to put this on here, and then I have a piece of window sheet. That's why I don't need my shaker dome, because I'm just going to let the window sheet fill in for the cloche. Now, here's the deal at my house. I have tons of cloches. I also have tons of cake plates. I would not put a pie in my cake, in my cloche, because my cake plates are a little smaller. So when you go to this blog post, I told you that I would have pictures of my cloches, and that went pretty speed bump because I wasn't paying attention. I'll take some pictures of my cake plates. I'll take some pictures of my cloches, and those will all be over on the blog post that goes with this. So now we have this super fun little, it's got dust all over it. We have the dome, and then we have the stamped one, and I don't need this. I just want the little thing at the top just to be glass. So we'll cut that up. And that's all the die cutting that we need for this one. So if you don't want to buy the dies, if you just want the set, you could easily hand cut that. You're not going to have the fun little knobby at the top. Or you could just hand cut one. So now let's color this in. I'm going to take a second and fussy cut this out, and I'll meet you back after I do that on the other side of the video. So let's color these. The colors are really simple. So I'm going to do my cake stand in cinnamon cider. Now, if you live in Indianapolis or you ever come to Indianapolis, there's a place that you must go. And actually, if you're only here for a little bit of time, you're going to have to go to both, because we have a place called the Cake Bake. It's by Gwendolyn Rogers. She got her start kind of in Hollywood, but I'm fairly certain she trained in France. She is a fabulous baker, and her restaurant and her bakery are, not only are they delicious, it is stunningly beautiful. The food is to die for. She has the best quiche. So I like sweets, but I really, really like savory things. And her quiche is like Julia Child's quiche. It's the big, fluffy, delicious quiche, and it has an arugula, if you're in the South Pacific, a rocket salad that is just rocket with shaved Parmesan and the best lemon vinaigrette. But then when you go to her, it's just decorated fabulously. We go there every year for my birthday. I just went in spring. She changes her decorations. Like, I decorate my house, that's the cloches, seasonally, so I change all the time. But her decorations are all out. Her Christmas is fabulous. Her spring right now, she has giant mushrooms. And then her desserts are mile high. She's one of Oprah's favorite things every year. So she has a little quaint place that was her first shop in a little village. And then she has a much larger one that is new. I feel like it's new because it's not the old one. Now I'm going to take Smoky Slate, and I'm just going to give a little bit of highlights just to accent the edges of my glass. So you have to go there. But the inspiration for this is the Cake Bake. Again, mark it down, Cake Bake. Go follow her on Instagram. You'll be inspired by her decorations. You'll be inspired by her menu. You will be inspired by the fabulous, everything has glitter on it. And you might think that the guys wouldn't like it because everything has glitter on it. They secretly do. But everything has, like, if you remember our Dazzling Diamond, it's like Dazzling Diamond has been put through a cruncher and made it as teeny tiny fine as teeny tiny fine could be. Now I'm doing the color lifter and kind of blending this in so it fades. So everything is sparkly. The drinks are sparkly. Your main meal isn't sparkly, but the desserts are sparkly, and the cakes, she has the tallest cloches. She does have cloches. The tallest ones because the cakes reach the very tip top. Her chocolate chip cookies have won awards in France, and they have tons of delicious chocolate in them, and then they're all sparkly. So this card is inspired by that because her pies have sparkles on them. So when I go in a minute, I put the Wink of Stella on there, and you're thinking, pies aren't sparkly. Yes, they are. I've eaten them. So we're just going to kind of blend this in. We're going to let that sit a second, and then I'm going to go back. Now I'm going to take crumb cake because, you know, we're coloring the crumb. So I'm going to start with the dark. I want this little lattice here to be mostly dark, so it kind of is different than the bottom. And then I'm going to do the edges. And I just went out of the lines. Over here. And then I'm going to blend it with the light crumb cake. if you press hard, your blends will squeak, but it makes those lines disappear. And you want to leave just a bit of place in the middle. I'm coloring on shimmery white, so you might think it's not quite white and it's not vanilla. What color is she using? It's because it's shimmer white, because again, ode to the cake bake. When little girls go and they have a little girl party, then they come out and they douse like a, I don't know what it is, something, because I don't have a little girl anymore. I need a granddaughter so I can take her there, but they sparkle them with glitter. And sometimes if they're little boys at the table, they're like, do you want glitter? And at first they say no, and before they've left the table, the next thing you know, the little boys are doused in glitter too. This is light soft suede, just to give a little bit more shading. And the reason I ended up putting that there was just a little bit more so you could see the Wink of Stella when I add it. And we've gone back to the dark crumb cake. And now you can see where those lines are. You don't want those. See over here where everything's nice and blended. So now when you go back to your light crumb cake and you push hard, and it will squeak, you can get those lines to blend away. Because they're called blends, they're supposed to blend. And you don't have to push hard. You can make it take 3 times as long. But if you push hard, it will go really fast. There we go, that's pretty good. And then I'm gonna go back to my color lifter and get now that that's had time to kind of blend. I'm just gonna have that go a little bit more. Okay, so now let's put this together. It doesn't take that much longer, but because there's coloring and there wasn't coloring on the die cut card, it just went together super fast. Okay, so as I told you, this is a peach pie. Because it's summertime, peaches are everywhere and peaches are delicious. So if I have the peach paper, but maybe you want it to be an apple pie. So you don't need crumb cake. You can take some cinnamon cider and you can either go back to the Beauty of the Earth that I used on the other card. And look, you can have an apple pie this way, or you can flip it over this way and do an apple pie this way. So you can see just by changing the paper, because it's just a pie crust, you could use Christmas paper. You could use the Christmas pudding if your family knows what that is, which mine does because we're half Australian. And a lot of American families know what Christmas pudding is, but you can see how easy it is just changing it up. You can make lemon or a lime. You can do a different flavor by changing the paper. But this is gonna be peach. And so I'm gonna go back to the crumb cake, but that's where you can kind of see how easy it would be to just switch the flavor of your pie by the paper. So let's put this together. So I'm gonna start, and I'm gonna put my peaches at the top. And then for the next piece, you just gonna add a little bit of adhesive here, just in the middle. And then lay this on. And just make sure they're even on the edges. And I'm gonna put a piece of adhesive here in the middle. And then to give it that fun extra little country look, I'm going to take a piece of our paper lattice, which is in the annual catalog. And you can see if you put the whole thing on, it's gonna cover up the cute little saying. We don't wanna cover up our cute little saying. So just take your paper snips. And thanks to COVID, these are on back order. I don't know that our paper snips have ever been on back order, but I am just popping this one little last row off. Super easy to do. And then you have another piece here that you could use for something. And then that's gonna stick to this piece that you put here. Then I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up. So I'm gonna put my adhesive on my stand. Put that there. And then later you can lift these up, or I'll do it now. I did it at the end on my other one. And it helps hold both the lattice and the, you don't want your stand to look like it's blowing in the wind. And I'm not gonna forget my Stella. If you watched my video on the other one, I forgot to, my cloches light up, and I forgot to put the lights on, but I'm not gonna forget. I was just gonna do it all at once. So just take your wink of Stella. I did meant to squeeze it before I did my video, because it had started to run a little bit dry, and you know, sometimes when you squeeze them, you can get a whole bunch at one time. Here it comes. And seriously, all of you that have been to the cake bake, comment below and tell people that this is seriously what a cake bake cake looks like. And this, everything's sparkly over in the bakery. And you go in and you're fairly certain, you look at the menu and you're like, this is what I'm gonna get for dessert, because this sounds delicious. And then you go over, just gonna add a little bit of shimmer here. You go over to the bakery, and the next thing you know, you're like, that looks so pretty that I might have to have that. So I've got that. Then I'm just gonna take a tiny piece, as little as I can get by with, of adhesive there. Go back to my cake dome and add that. Now when you're done and this is all set, you're probably gonna have a tissue laying here. Usually you'll have to wipe these off because it has fingerprints on it. So right before you send it off, and they do get staticky, I can see a little piece of dust right there. So before you send it, just take a tissue and wipe your fingerprints off. So there's this one. They look pretty much the same. There's not a whole lot you can do to change these, but I hope you can see the fun glass effect that window sheet gives it. So super easy. So once again, there's the peach version. Close your eyes for a minute and pretend that we did an apple pie version this way. A fun fall one. You could do the exact same card and just flip paper and do that. Or, where did I put, here's my unlit version. I don't know where I laid my other one. Here's the one that doesn't have the lights in it, but there it is, a summer cloche with this. Now, you could add the shaker domes to this and have it actually be 3D, or you could take the window sheet and have that be flat. So I've already had people ask if you can mail these, and you can. When we first started carrying the shaker shapes, like we have the mason jar, we've had the snow globes, we've had, there was a round one. I don't remember what it was for. I think that was the first one that we had. So what I do when I mail them is if you just save any of the kind of little foam pieces that you get when you get a little shipment, or if you buy something and it comes with that, the little styrofoamy, it's like white. And I just save some of that. I have some in my office. I should have pulled it out. And I just cut it. So I just cut little strips and I just put it around it. So you can do it that way, or you can just get a little padded envelope. And actually, if you go to the store, you can find cute ones, or you can just stamp the manila colored or the white ones. But as long as they're in something with a little bit of padding, they ship just fine. They're pretty sturdy. So that's what I have for you today. Like I said, I have one more of these in this little series, and then we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna go all out on holiday catalog. And then a couple of days before the very end of the month, I'm going to just do a video. I don't know that it'll be much of a tutorial, but I'm going to show you a whole bunch of samples made with all the designer series paper, just all the ones that I've collected and made and friends have given me since this new catalog started, to remind you how fabulous it is and how you need to get it before it goes off sale. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.